Major, we're getting some interesting information out about a general election matchup here about which candidates would fare best. The same Quinnipiac poll that finds in a head-to-head matchup that Bernie Sanders and Marco Rubio have the highest favorability ratings among voters. Sanders with 44%, Rubio 42% here. And a new twist, the poll also finds if former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg hops into the race, he would be a bigger problem for Bernie Sanders than to any of the top Republican contenders. In a matchup between Trump, Sanders, and Bloomberg, Sanders would tie with Trump. In a race between Sanders, Ted Cruz, and Bloomberg, Sanders would also tie with Cruz. And this is the thing that Bloomberg says it may be the deciding factor about whether he enters the race, whether Bernie Sanders ends up as the Democratic nominee.
Sure. I think Bloomberg, whether Sanders is the nominee or Hillary is, if he enters the race, and he's already said or indicated he wouldn't if Hillary is, but if Sanders is, Bloomberg takes more votes away from him. There's no question about that. Because most Republicans don't have anything in common with Michael Bloomberg. He's too aggressive on gun control. He's too aggressive on health care regulation, supersized soft drinks and the like. They don't really deal with Michael Bloomberg as someone who would be an alternative to Ted Cruz or Donald Trump or Marco Rubio. So if Bloomberg were to enter the race, he would siphon votes away from Bernie Sanders if he were the Democratic nominee. I don't think there's any question about that. So he would be an X factor on the Democratic side in much the same way Ross Perot was an X factor on the Republican side in 1992 when he siphoned votes away from George H.W. Bush, paving the way for Bill Clinton to win the White House with 43% of the popular vote.
Well, then you have to imagine that there's a huge Democratic push right now to try and convince Bloomberg that he's got the idea all wrong. Major, good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. Thanks.
Be sure to tune in to Face the Nation this weekend. Moderator John Dickerson will interview Bernie Sanders Sunday at noon right here on CBSN.